How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of our Lorbeck Luxury Cars Friday Drive. This week we have a selection of Audis to showcase to you. We're going to be starting with our Q7, our RS5 and the absolutely exceptional R8. We're going to start off with our 2016 Audi Q7 S-Line model as well. We've got the full roof racks on the top, and I want to just show you this around the side here. We're going to open up the boot, and now this one is a 7-seater, so perfect family vehicle. If you don't need the seats, then you've got so much space for all your gear. This one in particular is a 200 kilowatt model, which is quite a desirable option for the engine package. S-Line as well. In the interior we're going to go through in a minute, there's heaps of options and real little things, touches that Audi do that I really like. Heading into the interior now, there's a few things that I really like that we've got in this model here. One is the massive panoramic sunroof. I just opened it up a little bit and it felt like it took forever, but it's just to showcase how much space and light that can come into the vehicle as well. The other thing that I'm a huge fan on, just those little touches, are the sort of Alcantara finish on the side here. And a big thing for me with Audis is how analog the buttons are. You know, sometimes you get those vehicles and get this like haptic touch stuff, and it doesn't really do what you want it to do, whereas all of this is just proper buttons. And something that I really think is underrated now in a lot of vehicles. You've got a full system with the screen here as well, and I've driven a lot of these cars and they give you everything, especially with the 200 kilowatt engine. It gives you more than enough power. You can stick it in sport mode and it gives you so much performance but also comfort. And then obviously with the 7 seats, it's a huge bonus too. Now moving on to the 2010 Audi RS5, a car that I'm a huge fan on. And the RS5 has been a staple for Audi amongst years, and the brand new one, I can tell you now, I've driven it quite a lot and I've driven it on circuit, is one of my favorite passenger vehicles. It isn't quite a supercar, but it's not a hatch either. They're one of my favorite cars, and the 2010 model is no exception to that. Now, one big thing that I love about the car is this big front grille here in the black. You've got the black accents on the sides as well, and I just think it makes the car look really mean and sort of has a certain stance on the road that is befitting of that V8 engine that it has in there. And the performance of these things is incredible, but that front grille for me is a really big highlight for me. Heading back to the interior, this one now, first thing that you notice is the RS5 signification, if you will, on the back of the seat here, the sports seats that are going to hug you as you're driving. And this car actually has the carbon interior pack, so you'll be able to see, particularly in this center cluster here, sort of detailing on the side of the door here as well, something a little bit extra that the car has. And one thing I'm a huge fan of in the RS5 is the driving position. I feel it sit nice and low, the wheel is really adjustable, I can sit in a really comfortable position. And even for a 2010 model, the tech in this thing is really good. We've still got a fully active screen, reverse camera, and it's one of those cars that you can enjoy the comfort of it, but also when you do open up that V8 engine, it absolutely sings and it's amazing. Finishing off now with our 2020 Audi R8, one of my favorite cars we have here, and I think one of those cars that people don't quite appreciate is as good as it really is. You get ultimate performance with that 4.2 litre V10 engine that absolutely screams, by the way. I've driven the car on circuit as well, and let me tell you, it's an extremely well balanced car in comparison to a lot of other supercars that I've driven that are a little bit different, and for the price point, it's fantastic. Now, looking at the front end, I mean, it speaks for itself really. It's almost like the RS5, but just squatter, more lower down, more sporty, but also way more just look how good this thing looks. The black on black as well I think is really cool, and the blacked out Audi badge I think is a really cool touch. Actually, it just sits really nicely in there. And you look at the profile of the car, where the way that the airflow has to go through the vents and everything all around the car, it's built for performance, and there's a good reason why the Audi R8 GT cars have been so successful. You know, ultimately they're based off of the road car. Well, if the road car's good, it's likely that the race car is going to be good too. I wanted to come to the rear of the car now, just for a couple of reasons, and we'll get to the second reason in a second. But firstly, how squat and stance the road the rear of this car looks. It's iconic almost, seeing that really low swooping back, those big oval exhaust tips as well was iconic with the Audi brand as well. Now, as you come over towards the engine bay, One thing I absolutely love is an engine bay that I can actually visibly see from the back of the car, and just look at it. You can see the 2 banks of 4 there, the V10 engine, and the amount of performance this thing gets is seriously impressive. And as you're driving one of these cars and you start to apply the accelerator, put your foot down and feel that power, it's so linear, just keeps progressing quicker and quicker. It doesn't have this stop-start nature that some other cars have. It just sits there beautifully as it gains speed and velocity, and it's one of my absolute favorite cars to be driving on a circuit too. Again, onto our interior. Now the cabin space is a little bit different. We're sitting a lot lower now, 2-seater obviously, and I love the details of the seats here with that red stitching, that soft leather. We've got a bit of carbon fiber in the center console here and around the trimmings. There's a lot more carbon here than in that RS5 that we had with the carbon pack. Gives a little bit of different element to it. I love the carbon with the black and the red. I think it's a really good option here. Even the roof lining, the Alcantara soft touch, it's beautiful. And then we've got I love the circular start button on the wheel. I feel like I'm in a race car almost, and our drive select as well, which is important. And as you're sat in this car, the one thing I quite like about it from a driving element is the really short front end. It means that I feel like I'm on top of the car rather than sitting behind and sort of at the back of it. I feel like I'm right in the center, and I think that's a really important feeling for that driving experience that you do get from it. And that's it for another episode of our Lorbeck Luxury Cars Friday Drive. I hope you've enjoyed it. Just to showcase a couple of the options here that we have in our Audi range. Now, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Instagram, and let us know in the comments what cars you'd like to see us feature here at Lorbeck Luxury Cars on our Friday Drives. And we'll see you next time.